I am baffled by the number of times guys have told me they do not have a condom with them. Are you not expecting to have sex? Are you expecting to have unprotected sex? Common sense says if I do not know your last name, you are not having unprotected sex with me. I always have condoms in my purse, in a metal case so they do not get damaged. But every guy has their favorite brand, so it is not always the ones they are used to. I went into a sex shop the other day and asked if they sold assorted size condom packs. And the clerk looked at me with total confusion and said no woman had ever come in looking for that. Edit. Most of these are people I have met online. I am pretty forward about the fact that I am not looking for anything serious. Edit. Thank you for all the replies and feedback. I have learned a lot about other people's perspectives on this topic. I would like to say that just because I enjoy casual sex, that does not mean I have no standards and will have sex with anyone. And it certainly does not mean that I want unsolicited, not safe for work photos in my inbox. I was previously under the assumption that most people who engaged in casual sex used condoms for sexually transmitted infection protection. I now know that this is not a valid assumption, and I will be more proactive in discussing this with partners. I realized I can be more direct in the way I communicate prior to meeting someone and during the encounter. I never thought about the fact that guys do not have a purse with a bunch of random just-in-case items. So carrying a condom is a conscious choice before going out. I confirmed that some guys are unpleasant and will try to manipulate me into having unprotected sex even when I explicitly stated this is not okay with me. Story 1. Let me start by saying yes I do despite my vasectomy. Fear of pregnancy is not applicable to me. However, you really don't know the person all that well, and you don't know where they have been or what they may have. I still use protection to prevent infections. Story 2. I did on pretty much all dates. I'm kind of guarded at first with physical intimacy, so I don't think I could have sex on the first date with someone, but I feel like if you're going on a romantic date, then that non-platonic vibe is enough to bring one just in case. Carrying a condom shouldn't have stigma attached. There are plenty of single women who aren't having much sex but are on birth control just in case, and that's totally fine. It's not like you're arriving at the date with the condom already on and ready to go. Story 3. I don't have sex on the first date typically, but I do keep my sexual health screening current through my official application for my actual provider. I get checked annually and between relationships. I'll use condoms, but I typically don't, as I only have sex with someone I'm in a relationship with. I will share that information willingly with anyone I'm considering being intimate with. If you can't have an open, honest dialogue about sex, you shouldn't be engaging in that activity, in my opinion. Story 4. No, I am never expecting to have sex on the first date. If she is interested enough, she will wait until the second or third date. If I am out at the bar on my own, whether I am looking to hook up or not, I always have at least 4 on me. Story 5. Are you not expecting to have sex? No, it's not a common occurrence for the majority of guys. Common sense says if I don't know your last name, you're not having unprotected sex with me. My common sense says if I don't know she's healthy, I'm not going to risk my health. Having said that, I don't do casual. It's not my style. Girls I've dated who have been quick to jump into bed, I let them know beforehand that I'm looking for something long-term. Some girls are cool about it and others aren't. Story 6. I usually don't because I'm not expecting to have sex. I don't do casual, so there's no expectation that the point of the first meeting is to get ready for the first meeting. That being the case, I leave the condom at home, where it won't get damaged in my pocket, won't come across as a red flag for player status, and won't give me an excuse to try to play for instant gratification. If things are going well enough that sex seems a reasonable option on the first date, I'm an adult, will go back to my place, where I have all the necessary equipment for clean, safe fun. But in the overwhelmingly likely event that first date sex is not the best option for both of us, then it makes no difference whether I was prepared or not. Story 7. Always, unless we've previously discussed going back to my place, so I don't have to carry it with me. As a man, you are always trying to lower the number of things you are bringing with you to a minimum. I'm surprised more women don't have condoms at their place. However, there are feminine condoms, not all of them are awful. I went into a sex shop the other day and asked if they sold assorted size condom packs. That's a good idea. It really isn't a thing though, but you can always buy them individually. Story 8. Never really expected it back in the day. I wasn't super successful with women online or through apps. I'm more of a face-to-face kind of guy. But the few I did go on dates with in real life or online, I expected actual sex to take a few dates. So, I never brought a condom with me on the first, but maybe on the fourth or fifth, depending on the chemistry. Story 9. Nope, because I do not have sex on first dates, like actually do not. But unlike the original poster, I am actually looking for a relationship, so I can see the different mindset. Story 10. I don't take condoms because I don't expect to have sex on the first date. I wouldn't have sex with any woman without one. If it turned into that, then there are 24-hour drugstores around. Story 11. Interesting. I have to provide the condoms because I react poorly to many of them. Trojan bearskins, which come in an iridescent aqua blue wrapper, or ultra thins, which come in a gray wrapper, are the only two I use. That being said, even if he did carry them, I probably wouldn't be able to use his, and I don't carry mine with me. I've never connected with a man that well to have sex on our first date anyway. Story 12. No, I do not. I have been in several long-term relationships with very little casual sex between them. I'm 30 and got tested before diving back into the dating scene after 7 years. I'm clean. It doesn't occur to me to bring condoms on a date, and I don't expect to be having sex on the first date either. Truthfully, I would probably decline on the first date, as it's just not my style. If things heat up and we're gonna have sex, I would bring the woman back to my place where they would be located. Story 13. People in the United States have a complex relationship with sex. It's everywhere and they all want it, but many are criticized for open-mindedness toward sexuality by a substantial number of others. People often don't bring condoms because they think they're unsafe or because they are afraid to be seen by another as expecting sex. Why? Because of societal pressures. That's why. Good job to you for being liberated. Use your openness as a strength to resolve the issue. Be more direct about wanting to have sex. Don't expect assumptions to not mean not wanting anything serious. Because of society. I'm no less interested in someone if they say they are hopeful about having sex, plain as day. I'm in a non-monogamous relationship. I've learned to be very open and transparent. People who can't handle an immediate conversation about sex are immature. Don't engage in sexual activity with those who are immature. Story 14. I don't like having sex on the first date. I feel like it is just too much pressure, so I intentionally don't bring a condom so I have an excuse. Not sure if anyone else does this or if this is stupid logic. Story 15. I've had a vasectomy and get tested after every new partner. I use condoms with new partners if they want me to, but I typically don't keep them in stock, as I've had to throw out so many due to reaching expiration. If we get to the point of going back to someone's place, I'm comfortable enough to ask, should I stop for a condom on the way? Story 16. There's only been one woman I went on a date with where I felt comfortable with sex on the first night. We met for lunch and hit it off really well, and I met her again later that night. We seemed like a weekend couple, if that makes sense. I had a condom, but she didn't want me to use it. With any other woman I've had casual sex with, I've always used a condom, even if I didn't intend for sex. Whether it was the first date or fifth, I still had one. Now I don't do casual sex. I just don't enjoy it and always regret it. Story 17. I have to have a date to focus on the first one. But in seriousness, no, I am not going to be looking for sex on the first date or the second or third. I rushed into my last relationship, and it was a 10-year-long train wreck. Now, like Mr. Twitty, I am a man with a slow hand. Story 18. If I'm meeting a girl, I am carrying them. It would be disrespectful, disappointing, and stupid not to. It's the 21st century. If someone is offended that I am prepared for safe sex on the first date, it is kind of a warning sign in my opinion. Story 19. I am not being intimate with you on the first date. If you are going to be intimate with me on the first date, then you are not someone I want to be involved with or without protection. So no. Story 20. I used to not do it as it felt presumptuous, but after my second or third we could have moment, I decided there was no harm in having them. Being ready isn't the same as looking for it. It's just safety for both people. Story 21. Never dated. But I think it's always good to have them to normalize it and avoid asking yourself, am I sleeping with them tonight? Because that's awkward. You shouldn't be able to predict it unless they dropped clear hints. Always have them so it can just happen organically at the right time. For what it's worth, I think guys just haven't thought it through or taken responsibility. Many of them never had a talk about responsible sex. Sex education is all about only abstinence really works. We are so sex negative that encouraging condom use is seen as encouraging sex, which honestly it is, right? We don't want to touch the topic, so guys are ignorant. Also, we like to shove responsibility onto girls and women and let guys go wild, I guess. Our macho element. Boys will be boys, etc. Lots of girls and women aren't taught about condoms either, to be fair. But I agree it should reasonably be the guy's responsibility to have them, because they need to fit him. I think it's stupid. We should be frank and sex positive, and have much, much better sex education. For those of you carrying condoms in your purse, bag, or wallet, apparently condoms have expiration dates? Check the dates every once in a while. Story 22. I'm a woman, and I always have condoms in my purse as well as in my car. I carry different sizes and some non-latex options, just in case of allergies. It's helpful for me and my friends who might want to hook up with a guy but forgot theirs at home. Also, I tend to really question someone if they don't have their own condoms about their safer sex practices. I always have my latest health results on my phone and won't have sex with anyone, even with a condom, unless they can show me their recent results within 4 months as well. I also do a conversation to ensure everyone involved agrees about what's going to happen. Story 23. Flipping the question around or expanding on it a little, wondering if you were at a woman's house and she had them in, say, a night table drawer, if you would ever judge that and how you would perceive it. Not a Tinder hookup type scenario, but you're really dating and bam, a drawer full of condoms the first time you get busy. What goes through your mind? Story 24. If you say you're not looking for anything serious and we are on a date, that's the only hint I need to know something might happen. So I'll stay protected. If I don't think something is going to happen, I won't prepare, and usually I am right. However, there have been a few times I expected something to happen but not that quickly, and I had to make an awkward trip to the shop, laughing out loud. Story 25. No, I never really expected to. There was only once when the opportunity arose. The woman I was on a date with received a text from her husband that read, "If you have sex, please use a condom. We didn't have sex." Story 26. Just to give a very different perspective here. My fiancé and I are polyamorous, and we have a hard and fast no penetrative sex on any first date ever rule. So whether we are dating together or separately, we don't take condoms because it's already been communicated that no penetration is happening that first time. Obviously really different from how most people date, but that is our reality. Story 27. If a girl asked me for sex on the first date, I'd tell her to slow down. Depending on how much she was suggesting it, I might even consider it a red flag that she was more interested in sex than in me as a person. I suppose this would be different if your date was a hookup, but I presume the word date denotes a full romantic relationship. Story 28. Are you not expecting to have sex? God, no. I'm aware enough of my looks and abilities that I absolutely never expect to have sex on the first date. Story 29. You're never supposed to expect the first date to go that well in that direction. And if the woman insists on being intimate on the first date, then she isn't the one. Story 30. Absolutely. I prefer going for drinks for a first date, and I'm often open to having sex if things go well. A few things. If a person wants to have sex on a first date, that's fine. If a person doesn't want to have sex on a first date, that's fine. Neither person is better than the other for making whichever choice. If someone wants to have sex on a first date, it doesn't automatically mean they're not interested in getting to know the other person better. It also doesn't mean they would think less of the other person if they do sleep with them on the first date. I would think a lot less of a person for shaming someone for their choices, though. Honestly, I kind of thought and hoped we were beyond a lot of these outdated beliefs and assumptions by now. Story 31. To be honest, I don't think I've left my house without a condom if I knew there was even a chance I was going to see a person I was sexually interested in. You never know what can happen, and it will help one day. Story 32. Right? How hard is it to be prepared? Do you go to a job interview without your resume handy? They may already have one, but why take the chance? Maybe you won't get hired because they won't consider you without a resume. Who wants to be that clueless person? As a 50-year-old woman, the first time I ever bought condoms was this year. And that's only because we used up a week's worth in a few days, and I offered because I needed to go to the pharmacy anyway. Story 33. I carry 3 types of condoms with me at all times, kind of like Band-Aids. I even carry the non-latex version for those with allergies or who claim to have allergies. So far, one was confirmed to be allergic. The others only wanted to catch or give AIDS as far as I am concerned. Story 34. I did not because I never expected sex on a first date. It would have happened if I had brought some. The thing is, we do not really have a purse or something to discreetly and safely bring some, and I did have dates walk out when they noticed that I did bring condoms. Outline in jeans pocket, the distinct sound when opening the wallet to pay for the drinks. Quote, "What kind of girl do you think I am? No matter what we do, there is always the chance to mess up." Story 35. It depends on the season. I always carry condoms and lubricant in my purse, so if it's summer, I definitely do. During the winter, I'm a lot more likely to be wearing a jacket that can hold my wallet, keys, and phone. If I am, I might go out without my purse. If that's what's going on, I might choose to leave the condoms at home. If I don't bring condoms, it's because I've decided I'm definitely not going to be taking off my bottoms, and if I change my mind, we're going back to my place. But also, I'm pretty much always content to keep it in my pants. I've fudged this exactly 0 times in my life, so I know I can hold to those boundaries. Story 36. I've been off the market for 3 years, but when I was, yes, always, because you never know. I've gone on a terrible Tinder or OkCupid date and then connected with someone else after the bad date ended. Story 37. I always did. I got divorced and played Tinder hard. When I went on a date, I kind of talked to the woman I was going out with about my intentions before going out, so there were no expectations in mind either way. But I always had them handy because we were adults, and if sex was on the table, I wanted to be prepared.